You have been held in contempt of court because you can't act the way the court directs you to.
Your
You
Honor,
give the kids
how?
that message. You give the kids that message.
I don't get to talk to them.
The video that I uploaded about a month or so ago was titled Pathological Liar Gets Wrecked by Judge After Making Up Stories on X. Right now, it's sitting at 562,000 views. Now, within this case, this woman is just absolutely crazy, absolutely insane, and she demonstrated that in a variety of different ways within the last video. The judge was so upset, visibly upset, and ended up holding her in contempt of court while the ex-husband remained quiet and stoic throughout. Now, we're going to go over the part 2 update right now, but I'll leave a link to this original video down in the description box down below. I would implore you to catch up first before you watch part 2, or some of these things may not make sense. Without further ado, to give a high-level picture of what they're going to be speaking about, because of her contempt of court, she had been ordered not to attend any of her children's events, public events. She has an issue with that, so now this is a hearing to talk about that order. Let's proceed.
Sylvie versus Sylvie. Both parties are present, as well as Miss Van Tol, who represents Mr. Sylvie. This is a motion
He's got a lawyer.
by Ms. Sylvie, basically to review a provision in the judgment that found her guilty of contempt of court. And the provision that was in there basically says that she can have no contact at the events, the kids' events, if you will. I'm trying to find the judge's wording, but no contact, but it could be reviewed anytime after October 24. Ms. Van Tol order, this was order following contempt proceedings that was entered June 24 of 2024. The provision that she is asking says plaintiff shall not attend any events or activities for the minor children. Plaintiff may request a review of this provision on or around October 24, 2024. If plaintiff prevails in having this complete restriction removed, the current parenting time order of March 16, 2022 shall be resumed unless this court orders an amendment to the same. She is seeking an amendment as well as a couple of other miscellaneous things on it. Ms. Van Tol, I'm just I didn't get a response from you. I'm not saying anything about it. I just want to make sure that I didn't miss it. Did I?
Yeah, I sent it last week, Friday.
Was it emailed?
Was it
It
emailed or
should
what?
have been by Lisa. And it would have been mailed as well. So
Well,
it
we'll
was
proceed.
submitted Friday. I think. I believe so.
Well, let me ask you, do you object to her request to dismiss that provision?
I do, yes.
All right, we'll get into it. This is the last motion of the day, so I've got time.
Okay, sounds
All
great.
right. Ma'am, I've read your request and your statements in here about all kinds of things that he does that's wrong. Do you wish to supplement? What do you have to say?
The judge
about
is tired of her.
Well, about the provision, I have complied with the directives to not go to anything for the boys. So that's the first thing I'm asking for, is to have that removed so that I can resume going to things on my parenting time for the kids. So that's the first one.
Well, then what's has complied with all? I'm unsure of what all the rest of this then is about.
Well, that was just the first. So then we are having behavior problems with the kids. Mr. Sylvie has been talking about mental health disorders, telling Jude that he has these mental problems and that he needs help, but it's not backed by anything from a doctor.
Okay, I understand that's another request, but what does all of this have to do with it about like picking up from school and I mean, you're throwing in all kinds of stuff that is statements like, the October 9th parenting time. Did you get the kids on October 9th at 11:30 or did you get them at 3 o'clock?
Short break from the content to share very important information. Hackers recently gained access to national public data and leaked names, social security numbers, addresses, and phone numbers of billions of US citizens onto the dark web. Thankfully, I feel secure because I personally use Aura, today's sponsor. Aura monitors your personal data, including your social security number, across billions of data points like the dark web and public court records to alert you about potential identity theft. Utilize my link in the description box down below for a free 14-day trial. At least in those 14 days, check if you've been compromised. Plus, Aura offers a variety of other features to keep you safe online, including real-time alerts for data breaches, a VPN for secure browsing, a data broker opt-out to stop companies from selling your personal information, and much more. Again, click my link to try 2 weeks for free. Now that's aura.com/MTR, and that'll be more than enough time for Aura to find out if any of your personal data has been exposed.
I got them at dismissal.
Okay, so at 11:30 or whatever that was.
Yes, at
Well, what is the
dismissal.
purpose of all of this in here about, you went through these things back and forth and you got it, but somehow it falls on him as being negative for something.
The purpose is to show that the kids are stressed out, their behavior problems are increasing.
It shows to me that you're stressing them out.
How, can you explain that?
I don't even, I mean, we go through this whole thing here and it's between you and him and you contact Miss Van Tol and everything, and it gets worked out. Why are the kids even involved with it? Why are you saying at some point and adding that he would deal with her later, which left Noah frightened? Why are you even talking to Noah about it?
I'm not. I can't even contact the kids.
Well, then why do you put in there, deal with mom later if you don't even know that it came from Noah, according to you?
Right, when I picked him up.
Okay, why does he even have anything to do with it? You picked him up at the time you wanted to.
Yes, sir. That's the first thing he said when he got in the car. I am trying to show.
I don't believe that.
Well, at some point.
Ma'am, you do not have the world's best credibility in the court. You've lied to the court starting back in the trial, starting back even before that, when you wouldn't agree with the judgment that you agreed to and then sent out stuff that was damaged. And I mean, it's all come out. You have abused the court numerous times with not being truthful.
Folks may not remember this from the original video, but she's actually a school teacher. Now, imagine being a school teacher that has your children taken away from you, but you're still teaching other people's children. I do hope that her school or school district takes note of that. Secondly, the judge is absolutely tired of her. She's been proven a liar time and time again, which promotes zero credibility. It just baffles me that she's still allowed to submit these motions when it's clear that she's trying to scrape at anything in order to paint the husband in a bad light. Let's proceed.
Okay, I understand, but at some point, someone will have to talk to the children, right?
About what?
They are stressed out. There is no reason that
You are
Mr.
stressing
Sully-
them out with all these things.
It's not, so they're not
Yes.
supposed to talk to me?
I didn't say they're not supposed to talk to you. I believe you are seeking from them such things as, you're stressed out because of what? Because dad said he's going to do something to me afterwards. Dad, if he even said that, he'd deal with her later. Fine, kids, you're going to go at 11:30. I'll deal with your mom later. Who cares?
Okay, I just wanted to understand your point that you are okay with that sort of behavior to the kid.
What sort of behavior to the kids?
That Mr. Sylvie, that Matt would say that to the kids about
Man,
their mom.
You really don't get it. The other thing in here is you start talking about Mr. Sylvie is trying to change, how do you say it? Demands that Comstock Park overhaul their dismissal procedure to include ID checks, post-school hours, and an expectation driven by his personal vendetta against Sina and his desire to exert control over her. I read through the things that he said, and all he's saying is, why is the school sending the kids to somebody who they barely know at most and isn't on the pickup list? And somehow you want your kids to get into a car that they don't know who they're with? Is that what I hear?
That's what you read.
That's what I read in here that he wrote to you. But somehow you try to turn that around and
Right.
make it
Evil.
something that's awful that he's done. I don't even understand where you're coming from.
Sir, in the messages,
Yeah.
the children know who this person is. But why does
Is that person? Who is the person?
she's a family friend of ours from the YMCA.
And the kids spend a lot of time with her?
In the summer,
I mean,
graduation open house.
all I know is that they don't even know her last name. Absolutely inappropriate. You don't want your kids getting in a car with strangers, right? Is that
She's
true?
not a stranger.
Answer my question. You don't want them getting in a car with strangers, right?
Oh,
And aren't they supposed to get into cars with approved individuals?
yes, they are approved by me. It's my parenting time. They're not getting picked up during school hours, sir. It's after dismissal.
How is it okay telling Noah to get in a car with someone he doesn't know very well? This is a very bad idea, and I think I should tell the school to make sure Noah gets, doesn't get picked into a car with anyone that he is not on the approval list. I mean, it seems like a reasonable request.
Yeah.
Your Honor, it's not because it's dismissal. It's not during school hours.
So you
She's
send
crazy.
anybody at dismissal, whether they know him or not, and that's a good thing. You want
Makes
him to
no
get in,
sense.
so he should send somebody that says, hey, I know you don't know my kids, but go pick them up from school.
That does not make any sense, Your Honor. The
Yeah, it
children.
does. You don't make any sense. I'm
Okay.
just telling you.
I
Why is
understand.
it that everything that is done comes back on him as you're the one who's violated court orders. You're the one who's been held in contempt.
The reason for that is she prioritizes her hate for him over what's best for the children. And because of which, she's trying to squeeze water out of a rock, scraping at anything that she can to get him in trouble. How crazy is it that you're allowing people that the kids barely know or feel comfortable with to pick them up? And your reasoning for being able to do that is because it's at dismissal? And you're still trying to figure out ways to blame the father within that? This woman is Fruit Loop crazy.
Okay, so just so I understand, Matt can put whatever he wants into an Our Family Wizard message, and that is just what it is.
You submitted it to me. They didn't.
I know, Your Honor, I'm turning things in to show, like, that doesn't make sense. Everything is a problem for him. He is the one that
Everything is
brings,
a problem for you.
I am not the one that brings the kids into things.
Into what?
Noah being frightened or
He would have Noah would have no reason or any thought of being frightened just because if it works out and he says, go ahead, kids, you're gonna go to your mom's at 11:30. I'll deal with your mom later. He'd have no reason to be frightened about that unless you make it a big deal.
then that sounds like a conversation that someone should have with him or with the kids.
What?
You're saying that he has no reason to be frightened. That was a
Not
feeling that
unless you put him up to it.
he ran to my car and that's what he said. He was worried. Okay, fine.
Did something happen to you as a result of that?
No, that's what
Okay.
that's the first thing he said to me. How
Oh.
is that not a problem?
I'll listen to what you say, but I don't find it to be credible. I don't think your
I
kid
understand.
ran at 11:30 and said, Mommy, I'm worried because Daddy's gonna do something to you because I'm here.
That's not what he said.
All right, Mommy, I'll read what he said. According to you, what he said. It's in your motion. You want me to read it to you, or do you know what he said?
Reader
Oh.
shirt.
But if
None of this
you would
is
like
normal.
to, you can,
Can't
or I
make
can
this
turn
shit
to
up.
it. And he doesn't call me mommy.
All right, adding that he would deal with her. It says on the morning of Wednesday, the 9th, Matthew instructed Noah to go home with Cena, ominously adding that he would deal with her later, which left Noah frightened. You didn't say he ran to the car and, oh, mommy, he's going to deal with you later. Mom, Cena, I don't care what he calls you. Go ahead. I don't find that after the kid's been in school all day and is now released to you, that he's terrified or frightened that something bad is going to happen to you, because stuff hasn't happened to you. I mean, he has no reason to believe that dad's going to show up and beat you up again, Mom. No, he hasn't done it before, so he has no reason to do that. You're
If a
just
parent,
making mountains out of molehills.
all right, understood. This is just creating more problems when they become adults. That's,
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
And you started it.
You're right.
I don't,
And you have been held in contempt of court because you can't act the way the court directs you to.
Your
You
Honor,
give the kids that message. You give the kids that message.
I don't get to talk to them.
You give the kids the message. You can't abide by court orders. Okay? You don't
Okay.
think that you do have to,
How?
Oh.
because you were held in contempt for violating it.
This is so
And you
crazy.
said you didn't, but the judge clearly held you in contempt, charged you some $4,000, which was to be paid last month. I hope it was, because otherwise you'll be back in court again.
It was paid, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay? I know you don't blame yourself for anything, ma'am. Never have. I know that you put on stuff about this wonderful guy you were married to, and oh, all these poor things that happened. And it was clearly lies. Clearly.
Wow.
okay, understood.
And since then, you come back and do some of this stuff that I don't know what. It's always Mr. Sylvie's fault. He's
Yeah.
doing the best he can to raise the kids, following court orders the best he can, and no matter what happens, even when he gives you what you want, you find it to be, oh, the kids are suffering from it. All you had to do, if he has said something, Dad's going to deal with you later, you say, oh, that's nothing. Don't worry about it. That's between your dad and I. I'm not worried about it.
That's what I did, but the court needs to know that these things are happening. And I
Alright.
tried to resolve it with Miss Van Tall, and Mr. Sylvie couldn't let it go. So like the day before I picked them up, I get to talk to Jude on the phone. He doesn't want me to pick him up from school because he is afraid that he's going to get in trouble for going home with me.
Did Mr. Sylvie ultimately say, okay, you can pick him up from school?
To Noah, yes.
Okay.
But I'm saying Jude was so stressed out that he didn't want me to pick him up. And I said, that's fine. That's fine.
Just
And then-
on this issue, do you have anything you wish to add, Ms. Van Tol? Just on this issue?
What I love about this line of questioning is that essentially this woman is trying to now posture that the ex-husband is a violent man. But the judge utilizes the Socratic method and also cross-references it with her written statement to just poke holes in it. But this is a common tactic from women just like this. Paint man as a violent bastard in an attempt to get a foothold in the situation, or at least more people to listen to you. But the judge ain't having it. Now let's listen to his lawyer dismantle her.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. I just want to impress upon the court that this is not accurate. Again, Miss Sylvie comes in here all the time making false statements. She attached documents that don't support her claims. The issue in this case was my client was attempting to work out the issue with Miss Sylvie in advance. Miss Sylvie kept telling the kids, I'm picking you up, I'm picking you up, I'm picking you up. So Mr. Sylvie did not contradict that statement to the children because he did not want them to be in the middle. So when asked, my client indicated, do not get on the bus. You can go with your mom or whomever she sends. That was the statement that was made. That was the appropriate statement. I am asking that the court set a time because this is continuously an issue. Miss Sylvie is not available until 3:30. My client's happy to say 2:30, which is dismissal from school on a normal day, if that's what it needs to happen to avoid these continued conversations. But the wording in the order currently is problematic since it says after school or as early as 3. And again, just to avoid any further discussion on the matter, my client's fine with the 2:30 time. He just doesn't want to have any more communication regarding this issue, and he does not want Miss Sylvie to continue to put them in the middle.
The kids are dismissed from school at 2:30,
Yeah, about that time, Your Honor, yes.
and she gets them from dismissal.
Right. The issue is that she's trying to get them on half days. They're spending time with these people they don't know because she doesn't have half days on the same day. And I understand she says, yeah, they're people that they've hung out with occasionally. They're not really people that they know well. So again, he just wants a time and that's it.
Well,
And if the
But
court
it's
says
only on Wednesdays, right?
it's Wednesdays and her Fridays, I believe. Or just Wednesdays, I guess. Mr.
Wednesdays,
He's
and
shaking
there's-
his head.
How many Wednesdays out of the whole school year does this apply? I don't.
Every
It's not
single
worth-
one.
It's not worth doing anything. If she gets them at 11:30 because they went to school and they had a half a day, we've already kind of resolved that issue. I'm not gonna micromanage days, all right?
So just again, to be clear, if the court's saying dismissal, the court's saying dismissal, I will put that in the order. But again, I find Miss Sylvie is not an appropriate parent. I'm very concerned about what she's doing with these kids. I attached, because the court doesn't have my response, and I apologize. Miss Dewey said she got it, but there's text messages that Miss Sylvie is seriously snapshotting OFW messages and sending them to Jude. She does this all the time. She undermines him constantly. It is a problem. It's a problem.
Have you filed a motion to?
I'm going to. Yes, I have to. This cannot continue. And this just happened in October. My client cannot keep funding all of these issues because he is waiting to get reimbursed until Messina pays me, which is always, 3 months later. It's a lot of money that we're expending on continuous litigation with Miss Sylvie because she can't follow a court order.
But you did get paid for the contempt one.
I did in September, yes. And then my client got reimbursed, yes. But it's a lot of upfront funds.
I understand, and I can't, I'll deal with it when it's in front of me. Did you file, you filed an answer, okay? You didn't
I
file a
did.
motion, so I
I
can't
did
really
not yet.
grant some of the stuff you're asking for because it's an answer versus a motion, okay? But, Ms. Sylvia, when are you gonna pick up the kids from school? At 2:30 or what?
So you are not only draining everyone's times, patience, and their minds, but you're also putting yourself and your ex-husband into a financial struggle due to you being an incompetent, angry, bitter human being. And filling all of those with all of these nonsensical requests is beyond me.
So if dismissal is 2:30 for Noah and 2:40 for Jude, they are going to be picked up at 2:30 and 2:40.
All right, and are you gonna pick them up?
Unless I have a conference or an IEP. Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor. I will pick them up.
You will pick them up, and if you do not pick them up, you will notify in advance Mr. Sylvie of who it will be, their full name, all right?
Yes, sir.
So that they can even check to make sure this person has a driver's license, because before he didn't, and you were having kids driven around by somebody who didn't even have a license. You make sure that they're appropriate. And however, basically 99% of the time, you will pick them up at dismissal. Do you have any problem with that, Ms. Van Tol?
No.
All right. You can enter that in the order.
Okay.
What else, Miss Sylvie?
I'm asking for, so Mr. Sylvie and I have tried to work out an extended weekend so the boys and I can go visit my sister in Connecticut. I'm just asking for 46 extra hours of parenting time over Christmas break. There's no school interference.
Let me get to that in just 1 minute. All right, I understand that one. Ms. Van Tol, I mean, if I adjourn now, Miss Sylvia, I haven't ruled on whether or not you still get to see the kids, because it's October 24 is when I would review that. Ms. Van Tol, can you tell me your response? I'm sorry, I do have it and can have it printed out, but you might as well tell me here right now.
Right.
I'm sorry.
So the issue was she filed a motion because her sister was having a baby, right? So she wanted to go out and see the baby at the time it was born. So she filed this motion in the summer. It ended up being in conflict with the kid's school, and it ended up being a conflict with Jude's driver's training that was prearranged well before we knew this request was going to be made by Ms. Sylvie. So the issue is she's made false claims to this court like they never see their aunt. Their aunt's coming into town. She has a week over Christmas break. She can do what she wants to do during her time. She doesn't need an extended weekend to see her sister. And again, I am deeply concerned with what she's doing in trying to alienate, especially the oldest child, regarding Mr. Sylvie. And again, I apologize you don't have the text messages, but it's super clear. She wants to be a friend to a teenager and make my client look like the enemy because it suits her narrative. It suits her goal of making Mr. Sylvie a bad guy to anybody she can, and it's not reality. So I do have an objection. My client does object to her having the extra time. She can she can spend the time over Christmas break. That is absolutely her choice.
Yeah, when's your sister coming in town?
She's coming in for Thanksgiving, but I don't have the boys that weekend. So I asked to switch Thanksgivings this year for next year. Mr. Sylvie said no. But the whole point is like for the boys and I to spend time together with my sister and the baby. It'd be nice if they could see her.
They see her every holiday that she's in. I mean, she's around every holiday that the children are spending time with Miss Sylvie, excuse me.
So they do see her.
They do see her. They spent a whole week out there in 2022. They spent last holidays with her. I mean, this is normal that she's around.
I'm sorry, what
Obviously,
holidays?
grandparents want. Let me just verify my response really quick before I say something that is inaccurate, because I had Mr. Sylvie
baby
respond. And she's coming to town. So they saw her in May of 2024, see her multiple times per year, and we're on a week-long vacation in 2022 to visit her, and we'll see her this upcoming holiday, is what my client indicated.
How does Matt know my sister's schedule?
You just told me she's coming into town.
She for Thanksgiving.
Okay, but he does. But the kids know when they see her.
But they won't get to see her Thanksgiving. I don't have them that weekend. And my Wednesday is cut short. She's
when is she coming in?
Tuesday. And then the Wednesday, I only have the boys. Or no, I don't have them that Wednesday because it's Matt's Thanksgiving. So they won't have an opportunity for us to go together to see her. I even offered to Matt, can we swap? Can I have this Thanksgiving and then you have the next?
No, and he doesn't have to swap and that kind of stuff. And I'm not going to make him swap.
She's not coming for Christmas.
My client's fine if she takes them during her Christmas time. That is absolutely not an issue.
Have the sister
That's
come
not
for-
even a
for
dispute.
Christmas.
Go ahead.
But I need the extra time because I can't drive the 14 hours and spend 8 hours there and drive 14 hours back. I need the extra time.
How much time does she have at Christmas?
Oh, geez. Hang on a second. I don't have that part of the
What
file.
is your parenting time over Christmas, ma'am?
It's only Friday, 6 p.m. to Monday, 9 a.m. That's all
over
that
the whole Christmas break?
Yeah, I don't have any additional break time, even though I'm off work. And I can't afford to fly Friday night and then fly back Sunday. too expensive. Like I have to drive.
I'm not gonna order any time like that. The parties can work on trying to see, if Matt, Ms. Van Tol, if you can work something out. If she's gonna be in over Thanksgiving, and maybe he could send the kids over there for Friday or something like that. Be reasonable and see what happens, okay?
That's fine.
It is refreshing to watch a judge continuously stand on business in support of the man in this situation. And let's face it, this woman has a PhD in becoming the victim as well as digging her own grave. And while she digs her own grave, all my man has to do is remain completely silent. But imagine, we only have to watch this for like 30-ish minutes. This is his life. Be thankful that it's not yours. Now, the next thing they're going to discuss is this no contact order. Let's see what they decide.
All right. The last thing we gotta deal with then is whether or not I'm going to eliminate that no contact, thing that expires on October 20, or that I look at on October 24.
Yes. So the rule says plaintiff shall not attend any events or activities.
Read it.
Yes. Well, I did not attend any events or activities for our minor children.
Okay, but it didn't say that if you don't attend any, that you can then automatically have it back. It just says we'll review it.
Right. That's what I'm asking for.
All right, Ms. Van Tol, your thoughts on that?
Your Honor, I think my client would prefer that she stay out of events and activities only because she continues her alienating behavior. As the court understood at the show cause hearing, she had involved other parents of children that interact with their children, and then their children were getting involved in it. She has been a very disruptive individual, and she causes a lot of conflict pretty much everywhere she goes. So it is more peaceful. It has been peaceful, but there have been there's been very few opportunities for Miss Sylvie to attend activities over this, 3-month period because we were in the summertime. We are going to ask that it remain in place until Miss Sylvie can stop continuously alienating and sending texts to Jude from OFW, screenshots of OFW messages, because my client disciplined him for being very disrespectful. And the reason he's disrespectful is because Miss Sylvie thinks he should be.
OFW is the parenting app that they both have downloaded on their phone to be able to communicate about things.
He should have a voice. He needs to push back. So then he loses his cell phone, and then he gets really upset. And then Miss Sylvie said, "Well, I'm so sorry, Jude. You must be," I'm going to quote it because this is amazing. She says in here, "Being punished for undermining dad's authority over you, like that's a normal thing." That is sarcastic. It is normal. You should teach your children to respect authority so that they don't become juvenile delinquents or criminals. Obviously, she doesn't care because all she wants to do is be a friend. That is not appropriate, and it's alienating, and that is a problem. And again, I don't find her attending events is in the best interest of the children or good for this co-parenting relationship or lack thereof.
I love this lawyer.
All right.
So, sorry, may I? I do agree that text, it's a little bit out of context because the consequence for Jude's behavior does not match. Jude is being treated like a delinquent, but he's not. His escalated behaviors do not.
She's a moron. What she's trying to say is that the consequence that Jude has faced does not amount up to the severity of the problem that Jude has caused. That's what she's trying to say.
What is the word? The consequence for what is going on does not match the behavior. It's extreme.
What should the consequences be?
She's
Trying to understand, like, why is Jude acting out instead of just reacting and taking things away, or taking things away from Jude, but not telling him that things have been taken away.
Woo.
Like this weekend, Jude was driving without his permit. He didn't know that Matt took it as a consequence. And I didn't know that was taken away from him as a consequence.
Your Honor, these again are not true statements. Everybody, Jude was very well aware of his consequence, and ultimately,
He still drove.
this issue is mom undermining constantly, even listening to her right now.
Yeah.
She's undermining. This
Yeah.
is what she's doing to the kids all the time.
The father took away the permit, which should take away access to the vehicle. The son still drove the vehicle. If that don't deserve a consequence, then I don't know what does. But again, she's trying to paint him as a monster by any means necessary. If the kids were under her parental control, they would be monsters.
It's not
I'm
good.
sorry. I'm sorry.
This
Dan,
is
it's
causing
not
issues.
undermining. It's a conversation about consequences and behaviors. If Jude was a delinquent, yes, remove the bathroom from him, like change his bedroom.
You want to
Yes,
wait until he
it's not
becomes a
real.
delinquent? Is that what you're saying? Once he becomes a delinquent, then do some things. That's
Again,
what you're saying. That's what you just told me.
That is not what I just told you,
Yes,
sir.
you did.
Sorry.
You said, once he becomes a delinquent, then those are appropriate.
Yes, it's not appropriate. There's steps. It's like it's a mutual respect that they should have with each other in conversations. Jude should feel safe enough to have conversations with Matt instead of just things being taken away. It's okay. That's fine.
They're wasting
Anyway.
money talking about this.
If Matt is telling me one thing and telling Jude another, it's very confusing. If Jude will say, like, for example, going to see my sister, he tells the children, yes, I will work it out, but then tells me, no.
He's trying to work it out, but that doesn't mean it works out on your terms.
No, I'm saying nothing has been tried to have it worked out.
He worked out the thing of the Wednesday with you, but you made it sound like, oh my God, he's, destroying the kids by this. He worked out that you picked them up early when I don't know that you were entitled to, but you got him. All right. He worked it out.
Okay. All
There were
right.
no consequences to you. There was nothing that bad happened.
Not to me, it's about the kids. But
Yeah.
moving on. Let me just.
All right.
Let's wrap
Any
up.
last thing anybody wants to say?
The provision says activities. I did not attend any activities or events. I have very limited contact with people in the boy's life.
I don't think you're appropriate to
behaved.
be around those because of what Miss Van Tol said. You are disruptive when you're around there. You are picking, maybe it's not the right words, but fights so that the kids are being told one thing, not the other. Mr. Sylvie's the primary parent. He's shown himself to the court. At least I don't see that he's lied to the court. And put forth things that are just out of reason. I'm gonna maintain that same thing through the rest of the school year. That means through till like June. If you wanna come back after that, we'll take a look at it.
Can you put a date on that, please?
The school year, I don't know when the school year ends.
Okay.
I will put the date in.
Yes, Ms. Van Tol put the date in. I don't know if they end June 6th or May 31st or June 14th. I don't know.
Okay.
It'll maintain through the school year, and if you want to take a look at it, we'll see what happens.
I'll be honest. I think that the lawyer needs to put in a request for supervised visits until a mental health evaluation can be done on this woman. She seems crazy as hell, and protecting the children from a crazy as hell mom seems like an appropriate thing to do.
I denied the motion regarding the time to Connecticut. I have asked Miss Van Tol to see if there's a way that the kids can see the aunt while she's in town. I know he's got Thanksgiving and that kind of stuff, but I know that he gave in on the Wednesday thing. There's no reason that he can't do something, but I'm not ordering it. Anything else we need to deal with?
I just want to make sure I understand. So the school year, so not removing the provision, has nothing to do with me following what it said to do, but it just has to do with the motion that I filed and the information that I turned in.
I don't know what you're saying. You
So
asked,
I'm
that it be reviewed. I reviewed it, and I don't think it's appropriate to take it off for the reasons that I've said throughout this hearing.
got it.
Anything else I need to deal with? I'm not giving you extra time for the Connecticut trip. Anything else, Miss Sylvie, that I need to deal with?
No, sir.
Your Honor, I did ask for attorney fees in my response.
Are
Again,
you, well, but see, here's the problem, all right? The judge gave her the opportunity to file this, okay? To ask for it.
filled with
And so-
lies, and that's the
Well-
problem. Again,
But he said that I should review it. I can't really charge her because then she asks to have it reviewed on the day he said to have it reviewed. You do understand that.
I do. It's just the other things, the lies that are included, the excess of stuff that was irrelevant and
think-
untrue that I have to respond to.
I think you said that you're filing a motion or something coming up?
I'm gonna have to file another show cause, yes. I don't think she gets it still, basically.
We'll, I can reserve costs for this, but you understand that I'm not, it's unlikely that I'm going to charge her for this motion for the reason that her motion asking for time for her to see the kids to see the aunt is not an unreasonable motion, number one. Number two, the judge said it can be reviewed on October 24, and she filed for that. So, quite
Thank you.
frankly,
It's the other things that take time to respond to, and I have to.
I
do-
understand. And so you will draft the order that will. I'm
Yeah,
not-
yes, I will draft the order.
You'll draft the order that denies her request and puts it in until the end of the school year with the
Right.
date.
And then the pickup, that'll.
Dismissal
Yep.
is the time for
Mhm.
pickup.
Yep.
Otherwise, are you including in there if it's dismissal or if there's no school, what is the time?
I'm putting in there 2:30 because that was what the end day and the end time was for the other kids.
So if there is no school,
Yes, the 2:30 timeline.
ma'am, it's 2:30 if there is no school. All right, otherwise it's dismissal. And, I think that's basically it.
Yep,
Thank
I
you.
got it. And then she's gonna provide notification if she's not the one picking up, but she's going to be the one picking up majority of the time per her.
She's gonna pick up, other than if it is provided in advance, not like 3 minutes beforehand. Oh, by the way, so-and-so is gonna pick up. Maybe.
You want to say 24 hours, Your Honor?
Uh,
I mean, I don't want to be picky about it, but I don't want games either.
Really, I would like the kids to be able to know before they go to school that day. So she could notify you in the morning, I suppose, right? That somebody else is gonna have to pick up. I just want the kids to know before they go to school who's gonna be picking them up,
Okay,
all right?
sounds
And I
good.
think- And I think that ends everything, correct? Anything else, Miss Sylvie, that you want me to address?
No, thank you for listening.
Shout out again to the lawyer. I think she does an incredible job of making this woman look absolutely horrible. I mean, she already makes herself look horrible, but she just adds propane to that damn fire. You know what I mean? But think about this for a quick second. This divorce was filed in 2019. So he's been dealing with this for 5 years. No telling how long that they were married, even before that, during it. But he's been dealing with the divorce for 5 years. He's been dealing with this behavior for 5 years. He's been dealing with draining of his pockets for 5 years. That's why some people may say, well, why can't he just switch the days because the sister's in town? Absolutely not. Do not show her kindness. For a predator looks at kindness as a weakness. And if you give an inch, they will take a damn mile. Continue not to budge. Shout out to everybody who's still with me at this point of the video. Guys, let me know. Leave me some comments down below if you have any thoughts regarding this case. I'll be on the lookout to see if there's any other updates after this one. But that's all that I have for the video here today. Last but not least, if you guys want to join my men's self-development community, link to it in the description box down below. Go up there, click in, see what's up. Trust me, if you're looking to upgrade your life as well as work on your financial education, it is the perfect community for you. Until next time, YouTube.